Actually, I don't. Prior to coming in here, I spoke with our homicide unit. They're still in the midst of conducting interviews and questioning people. So although the homicide occurred earlier this morning, there's still a lot of open ends that we're trying to chase down right now. And so I really don't want to speak specifically as to what they're doing at this point, but they're actually running down every lead that they have or they've been given since they've started on this process earlier this morning.
As far as homicides go, do you happen to know what number this is? I believe Nicolette had said she thought she saw that 15 was saying 28.
We're at 28 for this year, yes ma'am.
And what's Mobile Police doing about that number?
Well, there isn't a whole lot you can do about homicide. You've heard me say over and over and over again, violent crime is an emotional act. I could place someone in someone's back pocket, I put an officer in someone's back pocket, and if someone had an intent to take someone else's life, I really wouldn't be able to prevent it because I have to wait for the overt act to occur. And so it's a reactionary approach to dealing with trying to prevent a crime. And because people act on emotions, we never know when they're going to get to the point where they physically harm someone. And so our actions are typically always reactionary to the act of homicide or an assault itself in most cases. And so what we can do is what we have done historically is if we've tried to clean up those areas where we would have what we would call potentially random homicides, drug areas, things of that nature there. Our homicides are not random homicides. They're homicides that are committed by known individuals to, the victims are usually known to the person that perpetrates the crime against them. We've tried to clean up those areas and encourage people to stay away areas that we believe that may not be safe for them to necessarily be in. And when people follow that approach, we don't have random victims to occur like this. So the ideal is that the things that we can do, we've done, but I don't think that you can really ever change, you can ever really stop a homicide if someone has it in their mind that it's going to happen. I'll give you, for instance, one of the homicides that we had this year was a double homicide suicide. How do you prevent a double homicide suicide other than making sure that the individual that had the suicidal thoughts was locked up before he had an opportunity to commit the homicidal act? Well, if you know those things exist, the challenge of getting that person committed or out of the home go beyond what law enforcement may have in its arsenal to prevent in a situation like that. So the goal is make sure that those areas that we know that are potentially unsafe or unsavory, that we direct people away from those areas. We commit the resources to cleaning up those areas, and those are things that we've done. But teaching people how to get out of relationships or to deal with conflicts in other ways than using a weapon to deal with that conflict, it's a challenge for all of us to deal with. It's a societal problem that we all play a part in trying to figure out what's the best way to do it.